The storm.
And within this outbreak, they saw over 150 confirmed tornadoes.
And we'll explore the underground garden that's becoming a California landmark.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. It's been a wild weather week for a large portion of the country. Wednesday was another day of severe weather from Oklahoma to Missouri and into Iowa. Closer to the Great Lakes, flooding was a concern again in parts of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. A large part of Wisconsin and nearly all of Michigan were underwater flood alerts Wednesday, with those continuing today as some rivers are expected to crest in the coming days. Now, residents in one Wisconsin community were ordered to leave their homes Wednesday afternoon because a local river kept rising and is expected to get worse as more rain is expected for the region. Emily Matestik has more.
Everywhere you look in Shiocton, there's high water, and it's only going up.
I've never seen it like that. I've seen us flood, but nothing like this.
And the threat of even more water making its way downstream an already swollen Wolf River has village officials and residents concerned. The village issued an evacuation order forcing residents to make tough decisions.
When I first read it on Facebook, I cried. I just know I can't leave my house and my pets and stuff. And then my daughter called and said, "You gotta leave. If you don't leave, I'm coming to get you." So I started packing up stuff.
My husband says we're not leaving. We'll see. But I don't know. Part of me, like I said, it's not that we would flood where we live. It would be that we couldn't get out if something happened to one of us.
While some residents were packing up, others were continuing to try and protect their homes from the floodwaters. It almost seemed like a losing battle.
I was sitting outside in my driveway trying to pump water out of my basement at 3 a.m. and I was watching the water come up my driveway.
Despite the evacuation order, the rising water, some residents were simply adamant about not leaving.
Got to protect my house.
We have our dogs and cats in there, and that would be horrible to move them right now. But we got sandbags, so hopefully it holds out.
Heavy storms moved through the Milwaukee area last night, setting off flash flooding and high water across parts of the city. Rainfall overwhelmed drainage in some areas, leading to water covering roads and low-lying neighborhoods, with crews responding to high water issues. We spoke with one tow truck driver who said people don't realize just how quickly cars can get trapped in the water.
Look, watch this.
Oh my God.
So
he's gonna get stuck?
So he might get stuck. And his car just shut off when they do. So when the water get into the pipes, that's what they not knowing. When the water get into the pipes, it goes in the protected mode and shut the engine down. And that's what they not knowing. So that's where they get to call me. I love it when they go in there because they call Dave Towing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I can make some money.
Making money, and this is a good reminder to avoid flooded streets and turn around, don't drown. Conditions on flooded roads can change quickly. And now to Michigan, where the main issue has been tornadoes. Several touched down Tuesday, and at least 3 in West Michigan Tuesday into Wednesday morning. Now these images right here are what's left of an EF1 tornado in Otsego, Michigan. The National Weather Service says the storm-packed winds for around 100 miles per hour along a 16-mile path. And in Fenwick, Michigan, just north of Kalamazoo, another twister was confirmed. It was on the ground nearly 19 miles. Unfortunately, before the tornado fell apart, it slammed a dairy farm, causing extensive damage, allowing cows to escape their enclosure. Autumn Pasture has the story.
Dozens of volunteers came to Hull's dairy farm in Fenwick Wednesday, helping Janet Hull with the heavy lifting. After an EF1 tornado left the farmer's property a wreck.
I just thought, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe how fast and how much damage could be done in such a short time.
Farming equipment in several barns are destroyed, with roofing ripped clean off. 110-mile-per-hour winds scattering debris not only on her property, but miles away in an open field. But the extensive damage was only part of the dairy farmer's concern. At one point, hundreds of her cows got loose when fencing came down.
The neighbors would call and say, hey, the cows are down, 3-4 miles away, and they're out there in the field, or they're here and they're there, and It's just crazy to get them all, but thank God the neighbors helped round them all up and got them back home here safely.
And while the Halls do have a long way before they're able to rebuild, Janet says the silver lining in all this, though, is they were able to find most of their cows. Take a look at those cute little guys right there. And they are not able to have all of them at the property because of the damage, but they were actually able to take them down to a local farm and house them there.
As severe storms made their way through the Cleveland, Ohio region on Wednesday, golf ball-sized hail fell on the metro area. Video from 2 residents capturing the intensity of this hailstorm. One person said it was the biggest hailstorm she'd ever seen. Some cars were damaged in that weather. And the severe weather threat continues today. Strong to severe thunderstorms are expected from the mid-Mississippi Valley into the Ohio Valley and Northeast, with potential for damaging winds, large hail, and also there's a chance of some tornadoes. And the early spring heat wave continues today, impacting parts of the mid-Atlantic. You also have the southern U.S. and Northeast. Temperatures are climbing into the upper 90s and triple digits, with heat index values they're going to feel even hotter. Cities like D.C., Richmond, and Raleigh are climbing to around 90 degrees, with some spots pushing the low 90s, well above normal for April. But not everyone is feeling the heat. Wednesday was a snowy one in the mountains right there outside of Seattle. It took some drivers, of course, by surprise. While it's a welcome sight, Theron Zahn tells us whether it will help out with the low snowpack.
New snow has been falling, heavy snow at times, but that will not put a dent in our extremely low snowpack left over from a dismal winter. Take a look at this snowpack map put out by the Washington Department of Ecology. The areas in red are parts of our state where the snowpack is less than 50% of where it usually is this time of the spring. It's so bad that the State Department of Ecology has declared a statewide drought emergency. Even though we saw more than the typical amount of precipitation, it fell as rain this past winter instead of snow in the mountains. We need that snowpack for agricultural use and to cut down on the fire danger later this year. In fact, take a look at this drone video of the reservoir near Snoqualmie Pass, already jam-packed.
We were just over here not too long ago. It wasn't this bad. It was just a week ago, last weekend. It was nothing like this. Wow, what a surprise.
And this is video from the Como 4 drone of what Richard has been dealing with. Now, the roadway's been changing at times, sometimes snow, sometimes just plain old slush. Now, he told me that he wouldn't have tried to cross the pass if he'd known snow was going to be falling. Do not think that that's going to solve our snowpack problem. Ski area is already shutting down for the year, so skiers and snowboarders, this is almost insult to injury.
Well, this week marks 15 years since the so-called forgotten outbreak. Meteorologist Noah Hawk has more about the storm that often gets overlooked.
It is the 15th anniversary of the forgotten outbreak. This occurred back in April of 2011. And no, it's not the infamous super outbreak that was going to be the end of April. This was going to be just a couple weeks before, but that super outbreak did end up overshadowing this specific outbreak itself. And within this outbreak, they saw over 150 confirmed tornadoes across the United States over those 3 days from April the 14th until April 16th. And some of those states were including Oklahoma, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas, and even Virginia. And unfortunately, because of this outbreak, there were going to be 38 deaths associated specifically with those tornadoes. And one of the hardest hit areas was going to be the state of Alabama. Over 46 confirmed tornadoes on just April the 15th, and 5 of them being EF3s. And you're going to notice most of that activity was going to be to the south of Birmingham, around Montgomery and Monroeville, and even one of those EF3s started in Mississippi to the north of Meridian, and then eventually crossed over and made its way into the western central portions of Alabama. And although this was the forgotten outbreak, it still caused a lot of damage.
And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll learn about the turtles that could be making a comeback on Carolina beaches, and we'll explore the underground garden that's become a California landmark.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. We're tracking another huge range in temperatures on the way this afternoon. Parts of northern New England will stay in the 50s. Parts of southern New England, New York, and New Jersey will warm into the upper 80s today. Kind of make out where that front is. More clouds are expected in northern New England. Last night's showers are moving out. Notice we're brightest down to southern New England, New York, and New Jersey. This is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Another round of showers and thunderstorms should be moving in for this evening and into the first part of tonight.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Looking mostly dry for your Thursday. We will stay with a small chance for a shower or two late Thursday night into Friday. We'll see scattered showers along that cold front ahead of the front. It's still going to be very warm. Could break some records again for another day. Upper 80s to low 90s along the Mid-Atlantic, except in the mountains. But that front will bring some slightly cooler temperatures as we head into Friday. 70s in the mountains, low 80s closer to the coast.
I'm meteorologist Lauren Oleski with a look at your forecast. Temperatures for Thursday afternoon are going to go to the upper 80s across the majority of the region. It's going to be very warm as we get closer to the end of our week. Still under the influence of high pressure. That's going to keep skies relatively dry around the southeast as we go through the end of the week. Maybe a few showers moving through Tennessee early Friday morning, but our next front begins developing later this weekend, and eventually rain chances will increase towards the end of the weekend too.
Watching the National Weather Desk.
A rare visitor is making waves both in the ocean and along the coast of South Carolina. An endangered leatherback sea turtle was spotted in waters off a local beach, recently marking the state's first recorded sighting of the species in over 20 years. Nick Bass has more.
An unexpected call leading to an unexpected moment.
We got a message because one of the aviation gals happened to be out at the end here and saw what she thought might be a leatherback turtle.
And a leatherback turtle it was indeed.
I was so excited because I've never seen a leatherback. I don't think any of us have, but in pictures.
A rare moment not only because it's been 23 years since a leatherback sea turtle spotting on Folly Beach, but because these sea turtles are endangered.
Oh, light pollution, holes. Trash, habitat. Their habitats are actually from beach erosion and people building. Their habitats are being demolished. So, I mean, they are facing a lot.
Oatman says overall humans are the biggest threats to not only leatherbacks, but sea turtles overall. Conservationist Valerie Sprinkle urges boaters to be safe, especially with this rare appearance near shore.
Yeah, I think we have to protect our oceans. So when you're out there boating in the waters, obviously boat at a safe speed limit, knowing that these animals are out in the water.
Both Oatman and Capel say, although rare, they're hoping to see some leatherback hatchlings on Folly Beach.
So when they're usually coming up this way, they're migrating. But you could have that mama that may need to nest some eggs, and yes, we're all for it. We want her to come on.
Well, turtles are not the only animals making a comeback. For the first time in well over a century, bison have returned to Oklahoma. The animals were once common in North America, but mostly disappeared due to hunting and habitat losses. As Mia Medellin reports, they got a warm welcome at the Choctaw Nation Prairie last week.
I haven't seen a bison really, but I saw them when we were driving here, just like 3 big bisons.
From first-time bison spotters to bison enthusiasts.
We wanted to see the buffalo come back, so yeah, happy to see them back out on the fields.
Hundreds gathered to welcome them to their new home at the Choctaw Cultural Center. The bisons are now back on this prairie for the first time in 150 years. This, though, is more than just history. It's the restoring of a culture.
It's kind of like our old-growth rainforest. It's really diverse and special.
Bison once roamed much of North America, but by the 1800s, hunting and habitat loss meant their numbers were dwindling. The animal had disappeared from many regions, including southern Oklahoma. Now, private donors are helping bring them back to the Choctaw Nation.
It turns out that the Cultural Center happens to be located on one of the highest quality tallgrass prairie remnants in the whole region.
But you don't need to worry about bison roaming around the city of Durant. They'll be safely grazing on 100 acres of bob-wired prairie.
That was a huge thing for us, is wanting to make sure we kept it safe, but also allowing people to have firsthand, up-close experiences with them.
They're a little shy now, but don't worry, they'll warm up.
When I saw them, they were so cute.
More bison will be added later this year.
And Utah has already had dozens of wildfires this year and is only expected to get worse, which is why an unconventional method to tackle fire risks has returned to the region. Brian Will reports that goats can be the frontline defense against fires.
This wind-prone neighborhood in Eagle Mountain is at risk for grass and wildfires. It's also a starting place for the city's newest workers out here helping to reduce the risk.
I came home from St. George and there was just all these goats in my backyard. I was like, what the heck? We called them the goat force.
For Cleara Smith, they've almost become a part of the family.
We have Cinnamon. My sister calls her Cinnamon because she can't say cinnamon. And then I named one Coleslaw.
It may seem like an afternoon snack for these guys, but it's actually helping the city cut through some of this grass that would be harder to get with mowers and tractors. How does it mitigate wildfires?
The goats, they love to eat anything and everything. Well, not everything, but they love to eat all the sagebrush and other weeds that are just in our open spaces, and they're able to get into areas that mowers or other heavy equipment can't get into.
These 200 goats will be working rain or shine from March to September, consuming invasive and dry flash fuels, creating natural fire breaks. Unlike their human or machine counterparts, they won't need protection from the summer heat and are fueled by the grass they eat and water. They'll be clearing undeveloped sites, open corridors, and detention ponds without the need for chemicals or heavy machinery.
They tried to make sure it's in areas where it needs to happen.
Local goat farmers work with the city's stormwater department, managing the goats and the land they work on.
I like having the goats back there because I don't have to take care of them.
Well, America is turning 250, and across the country we are highlighting the people and places that define our nation's spirit. Today we are taking you to the Forester Underground Gardens of California, a one-of-a-kind landmark built by hand and born from the American dream. Carl Cook takes us underground.
Near Highway 99 and beneath the buzzing cars lies a hidden world carved by hand, one shovel at a time. The Forester Underground Gardens.
It is a hidden gem, and it's a really unique piece of American history, but also Fresno history.
This sprawling attraction is the life work of Baltasar Forester, a Sicilian immigrant who arrived in America back in 1901 with a simple dream: to grow citrus. He bought 100 acres of land off Shaw Avenue and North Golden State Boulevard. He hit solid hardpan, making farming nearly impossible in the Fresno heat. It didn't help. Instead of giving up, he did something extraordinary. He dug.
Out of necessity, desperation, he decided he was going to tunnel underground to make himself a home. Just a room, a place for his bed, a place for his stove, so he could escape the summer heat.
What started as a simple way to escape the valley heat turned into a massive underground network of rooms, passageways, and courtyards, spanning 20 acres and reaching as deep as 25 feet. For more than 40 years, Baltasar used only hand tools to break through miles of hardpan.
He expanded. He made a large underground home for himself, and he started growing his citrus trees underground.
Those trees still thriving.
Our trees are ranging between 80 to 100 plus, and they are still producing a lot of very good fruit.
Baltasar's ultimate goal, an underground resort for all to escape the heat.
The temperature does drop about 10 to 20 degrees from ground level on average is what we feel. We do have areas that are even further underground, about 22 to 25 feet below ground level, so the temperature drops even more down there.
Thanks to his brother Giuseppe and now his nephew, visitors walk through his creation on guided tours saved through the California Historical Registry.
Our visitors go on an hour-long guided tour, and we go through about 2.5 acres of Baldassar's creation. We see his underground home where he lived. We see his private chapel. We see areas that he was imagining for that day resort for visitors.
40 years of his life's work has become something even greater, a California landmark.
And time now for a short break, but first we soar over Utah's Bryce Canyon National Park.
Good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael. A little quieter weather out across the plains for the day today. Warm. We are shifting that rain a little bit more into the Ohio Valley and the lower Great Lakes. As we get into the day tomorrow, though, we're ramping back up that potential for severe weather out across the central plains for your Friday and getting cooler behind it. And that's going to shift into the Ohio Valley and lower Great Lakes for Saturday.
Well, good Thursday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Chris Suchan. Look at our forecast today across the region, starting off with those mild temperatures. Chance of a shower thunderstorm up around Little Rock to get the day started. The afternoon, we're well up into the 80s. It is a little bit humid as well. You see, we could get a couple of pop-ups here, but in general, a fairly quiet day across the region. Now, Friday in the afternoon, especially in the evening Friday night, there is a risk to see a few strong to severe thunderstorms develop across the region.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Stella Sun. A storm system will brush its way past western Montana, bring snow in parts of the Idaho Panhandle, bring gusting conditions in parts of northern California and northern Nevada. Wildfire danger will remain high in parts of Denver, where daytime highs will be climbing into the upper 70s. 53 degrees this afternoon in Salt Lake City, 80s for Las Vegas and Phoenix, and 70 degrees later today in San Francisco and San Diego.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Have you ever heard of the cap? It's a weather phenomenon, and it's very common this time of year. Meteorologist Teresa Carter explains.
The cap can make or break a severe weather forecast, but what is the cap? It is a layer of relatively warm air aloft, usually several thousand feet above the ground, which suppresses or delays the development of thunderstorms. The surface of the earth heats up, and there needs to be cooler air above it for the warmer air to rise. If a cap is in place, the rising air simply cannot climb any higher in the sky, acting like a lid that prevents taller clouds and eventually thunderstorms from developing. Now, if the Earth's surface heats up just enough, a stronger updraft can punch through the cap, or the cap itself may weaken. Then explosive thunderstorm development can occur. Look for this in late afternoon, evening, causing sudden, rapid development of thunderstorms.
Looking for more content just like this, you can find us on all your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great day, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.